Okay, so the figures that we use. Ideally, this is a unit, and that would be a brigade. However, a lot of our figures are based for Napoleon's battles. So we could use this as a brigade, but in DBN, they have the alternative basing where instead of 20 millimeters deep, you're 1 inch deep by 40 millimeters and 2 ranks. So this is basically the same as this. So we're going to be using Napoleon's battles basing for infantry, which is 1.5 inches wide, which is almost identical to 40 millimeters, just under. But we are going to be using DBN or DBA based cavalry, 40 millimeters wide, and that's a brigade. So this is going to be an infantry brigade, and that's going to be a cavalry brigade. This optionally can be an infantry brigade, just depends what figures we have at hand. The DBN rules, and again, you can Google KISR DBN rules, come with army lists. The DBA, the Bells of Equitatis, Ancients, Medieval, also come with army lists. The army lists are based on 12 units. Both DBA and DBN, you always have 12 stands, 12 units. But in order to keep it faster and simpler, in our campaign, the maximum army size is 8 units. If you have a garrison present and you're being attacked, you could field that for a 9th unit. So the largest battle you could have is 8 units attacking and 9 defending. Now, we don't use the army lists from DBN by Keep It Simple rules, because they come out to be basically the same. You know, you get about 6 line, you get maybe 1 grenadier, 1 light, couple cavalry, couple artillery. So I have reduced, and this is a house rule, reduced the army list to 1 army list, 1 generic army list. And that army list consists of 3, it's a 6-point army. Your basic army is a 6-point army. So that basic army consists of 3 line units. Your 4th unit and your basic 6-point army can be a grenadier or a light infantry brigade or unit. Your 5th unit is going to be light cavalry, and your 6th unit is going to be artillery. Now, if you have more than 6 units, like I said, you can go up to 8 if you're attacking or 9 if you're defending. You roll a d6 for the 3 extra units. And on a 1 or a 2, you get a 4th line brigade. On a 3 or a 4, let's say that was a 4, you can have another grenadier or light infantry. However, if you picked grenadiers for your first 6, then you must take light infantry for this one. And on a 5 or 6, you have some choices. You can have a light cavalry, a heavy cavalry, a foot artillery, or if you're French and English, a horse artillery. Most of the minor nations didn't really have effective horse artillery units. So basically that's what happens. We have a battle. The first thing we do is determine units available. Your first 6 are determined, and if you have more, then you roll to see what you get. But these can't be duplicated. Like, you can't roll 1 and 2 twice. You can only take 1 more line, 1 more grenadier or light, and then your choice of light cavalry, heavy cavalry, horse artillery, foot artillery. and you can only have that once more. So maximum is 8 to 9 units. And that's basically how we do the fight. First we determine the troops available, put them out off the table. All DBA and DBN battles are played on a 2-foot by 2-foot board. Here I'm just using felt on top of cardboard so I can move it around on the table. So that makes it very fast, very simple. Really small board, really fast battles. So first we determine units available. Second, we do scouting. So for scouting, both sides roll a d6 and add 1 point for every light cavalry unit they have. The winner gets to determine which side of the table they want to set up on. Terrain will be set up randomly, and the loser gets the other side and sets up first. Then the winner in scouting sets up second, and regardless of who set up first or second, once we start turns, we roll for initiative each turn. You roll a d6, you add your commander's rating. All commanders have a rating of 1 to 3, so you're going to be adding 1 to 3. The winner of the initiative can decide to move first or second. That means if they move first, they'll be able to fire first, move first, and determine the order of melees. And that's basically how we set up and start a campaign battle. We're going to go ahead and do one of the 2 battles now, so you get an idea of how terrain is set up and how units are set up and how the rules work. Okay, so we will be right back with some fighting. Hey, welcome back. We're going to show you how to set up terrain, how we set up terrain. Basically, you have your 2-foot by 2-foot battle board, which is basically divided into 4 quarters, right? There's a square foot here, square foot here, square foot here, square foot here. And we're going to randomly determine terrain for the battle. So it's really simple. These are house rules. On a 1, 2, or 3, there's going to be a hill in the middle of that quarter. On a 4 or 5, there's going to be woods in the middle of that quarter. And on a 6, there's going to be a river across the middle of the board and a built-up area in the middle of the quarter. Now, a lot of the rules require that there be at least 4 terrain features, which this complies with, and that 1 terrain feature must be man-made. So, if we don't roll a 6 by the 4th piece of terrain, it automatically becomes a river with a built-up area. So here we go. Starting with this quarter over here, we have woods. So basically, in the middle of the quarter, map quarter, there is a woods. This quarter here, we have another woods. This one's smaller. Okay. So about in the center of the 12-foot quarter, 12-inch quarter. And this quarter over here, we finally have a hill. Now you could use fancy hills, you could use cork, you could use all kinds of stuff. I just use this roofing material and cut it down with scissors. It's nice to have slopes and they look pretty, but This is just a lot simpler, especially when the troops are right at the edge. They don't have to be on an incline and falling off. So this section is a hill in the middle of the quarter, the terrain quarter. And since we haven't rolled the 6 yet, this automatically becomes a river with a built-up area. So I'm going to put a river across the middle of the map. Again, most of my terrain features are just simple felt or other simple materials. The river doesn't need to have fords. It's just rough terrain. It's half movement to get across. Woods are rough terrain. Hills are not steep, so it does not cost extra to move onto them. But you do get an advantage fighting if you are uphill from the enemy. And so that comes with a built-up area, which I'm going to put in the middle of the last quarter of the map. And just throw maybe a little village there, which we can easily remove as troops occupy the built-up area. I just basically use about a 2-inch by 2-inch cutout piece of carpet sample, and that's our terrain setup. So when we come back, we will determine troops available, roll for scouting. One side will pick which side they're going to start on, and we'll start the battle. See you soon.